space, where in part 10 I said we'd return back to this star and examine this star and the difference between it on Google Earth and Google hairs on Google Earth. The same region of those three stars around that other star. And then we go back to the worldwide telescope's view of it. Those three stars again. The difference in the resolution is quite apparent. But as we move around, we're going to look at these objects around this area to try to understand this area better. I mean, these objects better. I want to try to understand how these lines are created on the film. As we zoom into these areas, we see a real difference in the way it appears. Then other areas don't have much difference, but they have a definite marked difference. And then other areas are totally different. So we want to try to understand and be able to bring that together where we can get a fresher understanding of what it is we're looking at when we look at this stuff. Or maybe even come up with ideas on how to enhance and improve our abilities by seeing it like this and then seeing it in other different formats might help us understand some things about what's going on here so we can make changes. Anyway, but we're gonna concentrate on the strange objects that are seen. Where that's one thing when it comes to that. But I want to try to understand how these objects come to be. In the photo, these blue objects that have this weird shapes to them. Like these here, these weird shaped objects. They seem to be pieces of what I call the Zodiac Highway in one of my other videos. And this is like more evidence of a old Zodiac Highway or something, broken off pieces of that are just been discarded out to deep space. Because what are these wormy looking bent pieces of that same textured material as we'll go to one real quick so you can see it again. Fly way over here in the sky to an area that I discovered. I call it Zodiac Highway. Again, I'll remind you this is like some sort of anomaly in space. It looks like it has things attached to it. material that we were just looking at that was like wormy looking, stretched out, or it looked like a discarded piece of this same stuff. And it's hard to understand why the line is so fine for where they put the objects photos together of that region in space. Take all those thousands of photos and they put them together, we see the evidence of that, but what are these other lines created out of? And how do they why do they intersect at angles that are strange? Let's see. Back up into the center of it. It crosses over and it continues in another direction. There seems to be areas of it that branch off of it, like right here. If you can see that real close. I move over here and there's another piece that goes off that way. And all along it there's areas that look like it's something attached to it. As you can see where it actually looks like there's some attachments or some way of form of energy that's making that light attached to that. But then we travel down and we keep running into those blue objects around it. These strange blue objects, what creates this light and that texture, that diamond pattern looking texture all around the whole surface of that light. That's not the pixels here. Pixels next to this light are so finite that you can see deep down into it, like that. We're close to it so you can see that. But what's that blue object right there? That blue object is at 0 hours, 37 minutes, 44.50 seconds, and the DEC is minus 6 degrees, 40 feet, 5.50 inches. Again, the RA is 0 hours, 37 minutes, 44.50 seconds, and the DEC is minus 6 degrees, 40 feet, 05.50 inches. We're going to examine it some now. see that. Looks like a broken off piece of that one. It's way out here. And it even seems to be lit up on the inside of it. Like light's actually falling from this light that's close to it. And then it zooms back off in the distance. It's hard to do all this on the limited amount of time that we have on these videos. That's why I'm gonna have a large series of videos. So follow alien objects spotted in deep space, and you'll be able to see more of these objects. They're very strange looking. That actually looks like it passes right below and right above it. I'm gonna go quickly. In part 12, I'm gonna find this on the worldwide telescope, and we'll compare the two images together, see what they look like on different formats. But this object is very interesting and very weird how it's even in there. Those aren't the lines for our, so as you can see, the lines for our constellations are there. They disappear as you get closer to stuff, but what are these lines? What created these lines? And the weird texture on them doesn't seem to look like it's anything that would be like a mistake that we made, because of the strangeness of it and the angles of it. Here's another angle of that same object that just extends that way, but it continues back up here. I showed this in one of my other previous videos, but the texture on that is just weird. Try to get as close as I can to that so you folks can see it. But you should just look it up or follow my videos and look it up for yourself. It's at, this particular part is at RA 0 hours, 0 hours, 38 minutes, 51.15 seconds. And the DEC is -3 degrees, 25 feet, 42.09 inches.